Hello, this is Connie from Peppercorn Arts. It's good to be back to see you all again. Today I'm going to talk about my Techo Kaigi for 2021. Um, it took me a while to decide what planner and journal I'm going to use for 2021. And finally, this month I received the last planner for the year. So finally, I can actually have a proper finalize my plan for the new year. I'm really excited about it, so I'm not going to keep talking and I'm just going to start right away. So for my Techo Kaigi, for those of you who don't understand what Techo Kaigi mean, it just means planner meeting in Japanese. And basically you are having a meeting with yourself about what planner and journal you're going to use for the new year, and that is exactly what it actually means. I have done a few Techo Kaigi, but I think I've got it right this time. So here we go. This is what I'm going to do for 2021. Let's just start with my planner. So here's the planner I'm going to use for 2021. I'm going to go through with you one by one and explain to you how I'm going to use them. So here we go. So the first off is the final planner I've been waiting for it to arrive. It arrived this month from the stationery selection, and what I love about that is it actually got the stationery selection embossing in the back of the book. So I'm super excited about this. So this is actually a Nolty Efficiency Techo, efficiency Techo. I think that's what it called. It's the regular version, and within it is designed for productivity. So it has a very clever layout and a simple but very clever. So you got the date at the front, and you got a Gantt chart for each of the month. Now you can see that this notebook is very small, so it's something that you can definitely use it as an everyday carry, and use it on the go. So you got the Gantt chart on the front, and then you have your weekly in here, where you have the horizontal weekly with the time lines on the top, as well as a blank page on the other side to take whatever notes you want. It doesn't have a monthly within it, so it only have the Gantt chart and the weekly. But I'm a big fan of Gantt chart, so I think Gantt chart is a great way to organize your projects. For example, for me, I will be using this particular Nolty for my work slash social media, because those two things is quite closely related for me. So everything social media and shops related business will go into this Nolty in the new year. So I'm super excited about using it. So and this month also come with I think it's called kimono. I can't remember the name of this washi sort of dots. I have already got one. I think this is not the one that actually come in the box. This is my own one. But there was one that came with this month's the December stationery selection box, and these are really great washi stickers that used for key points or key dates. You can use it to highlight it, and they're quite useful. And you can also use some of these to divide your page as well, or use it to highlight your headings or whatever it is. So I have I usually have something like this in each of my notebooks, so they're pretty handy. In the back of the Nolty, you can see there is a pocket there, which you can slip these kind of things in there quite easily. You can also, I think, put any supplement notebook in the back here, hook back into it. But I don't have a book to, a sticky note or something to put in the back here. You can actually stick another book in there if you want to. But yeah, that's the Nolty that I'm going to use for my organizing my shop as well as my social media. The second planner I'm going to use this for 2021 is the Hobonichi Weeks. I have thanks to Meets, I managed to get the Japanese edition of the Jibun Weeks, which I really love. I have already started using this because it begins in December, and obviously I like to decorate my weeks and stick all my stickers on there, and I also have done the index for it. But the weeks has been so far so good. I've used it for a couple of weeks now, and is really quite handy to have. So you got the calendar at the front. You got a sort of a year at a glance. It's kind of a calendar, and you have the monthly, and then you go into weekly. So I don't, when I'm using a planner, I don't like to over decorate my page. I like it to be functional. So I will use point markers and stuff like that on there, or highlighters to document things. But I wouldn't be going over the top with stickers unless I really feel like it. And I'm not going to create a stress for myself to do that. The book itself comes with 2 ribbons, so you can actually put the ribbons on the right month and the right week as you go. So far, I have tried a few layout for my I tried a couple of layouts for my weeks. I like the weather stamp, so I can actually track the weather each day. I try to do some kind of mood tracker on there. I'm still a bit unsure about should I continue with it or not, but it's okay. I also use this is my daily planning planner that I'm using for daily. So I will have some of my shop stuff in there to do, but also everyday stuff like other thing to do, Christmas shopping, etc., etc. Things that because this book actually go in my bag everywhere I go, actually in my wallet everywhere I go. So I just write whatever in there. Whatever I need to go in there, it's in there. So this is the second week that I used, and I just simplified what I write in there. I got a to-do list. Wednesday is a day that I actually work at home, so I have other chores that I have to do on that day. I have a specific list for it, and I have notes there that still got Christmas shopping that I have to do, things that I need to buy for groceries, whatever that I feel like writing down, I'll write into this book. So this book has been very handy in terms of organizing my daily life, I guess. And I quite liked it because it's just simple, and I don't feel like the pressure that I have to decorate it. I can decorate it if I want to, but if I don't, it's fine as well. And I like how stress-free it is. So, yeah. And at the front on the monthly, because I don't do anything with it, I actually go swimming every day. So I write down all the time that I book in for my swimming. Because of COVID-19, we have to actually book in for swimming these days. So I actually write down all the time that I booked in for the swimming on each day. I also write down how many laps that I did on the day on the bottom. Not to say that I'm on filling out the page. I just trying a few different things, and I also have all my things that I have bought and ordered, and write on the side. So when they arrive, I take it off. That kind of things. But like you can see that I put like appointments and meet up or anything like that in a point marker, just in case I have to shift them around, which lucky I did because my hair appointment is going to be moved. Anyway, so that is my Hobonichi Weeks. Yeah, and I use for Hobonichi Weeks because it's something that I carry every day with me. I use Sarasa clip pen to do all my writing because it's just a handy pen to have and a clip on the side. So the last book planner we're going to talk about is now I know this looks like a Hobonichi, but it's not a Hobonichi. This is the planner I'm going to use for for work. So for some of you might know, some of you might not, I'm actually an art teacher. So I work at a school, and obviously with teaching, you really do have to have a lot of planning to do, curriculum planning, as well as documenting students' progress and all of that. So I'm using I have in the past I've used a Hobonichi Cousin for all my teaching planning, but for 2021 I changed my setup. So this is what I'm using. This is a Hobonichi cover, but inside there I got the Hobonichi notebook. This notebook is great because it comes with 4 different color grid paper. So you got section. You can section it off if you want to, where you can put index on there to show which section is for. But this notebook here will be I'll be using it for keeping notes of students' progress, meeting notes, and all of that in there. But for day-to-day plan, I will be using a Jibun Techo for 2021. Now, in fact, I've started using Jibun already because it starts in November, and I have been loving it. Really like it. I'm not gonna go on and on about what's actually in there. In fact, there's a lot of different pages within Jibun that are quite useful and quite interesting, I guess. Like for example, we got 100 wishes list, and I haven't used any of those pages yet. You can document your favorite phrase, all of that. But because I'm using this for teaching, so any of these list I haven't actually started on it. I might, but I might not. But this Jibun, I guess, is it's not just a good planning tool, but also really look after your well-being. I found so, which I will talk about that a little bit more later. But in the front, what I love about this Jibun is again a Gantt chart. So I'm an art teacher. I teach quite a few classes. This is my Gantt chart for November, and I'm able to divide it into weeks. So I'm very clear about which week I'm on. I have divided each of the section as different subject, and I'm able to write down all the units that I'm teaching according to the weeks, and I'm able to see when is assessment, when things are overlapping with any school event on this Gantt chart in one glance, and I'm able to color code as well. Because my school have something like week A, week B, and I'm always confused. So I have everything color coded, and when assessments are and all of that in a Gantt chart. And I love this section. And I think that I will never not have a Gantt chart from now on because it's so useful for as a teacher. And afterwards, you have your monthly, which you can actually write down all the key dates and all of that in there. Within the monthly, again on the side, you have your to-do list kind of thing, but you also, for each day, you got apart from the date, you also have the like a mood tracker. You will be able to highlight what mood you are in each day. That's what I mean by this planner is not just for productivity, but also really great for well-being. Get you to kind of reflect on each day if you want to. And then afterwards is weekly sort of weekly kind of layout. So I have this is my normal week. I don't work on Wednesday, so you can see that I've divided each of the page into a section, and I color code each of my classes, what they do on each day. And I usually have, because my school have 5 periods, so I have like period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I divide it into 5 sections. This is actually a timeline, but I don't use the timeline function. Instead I use it as a period, like period to period and break times and all that in there. So I have my sort of an everyday to-do list on the top. I have the weekly to-do list on the side, and then I have each of the classes, written what they have to, some of the key points that I have to address in each of the lesson are right on each of the section. So this is how I use a Jibun Techo, and I'm actually loving it because I think that is very clear and very easy to use, and I really like the idea that I separate the planning to my note and assessment here as well. So this is not quite the right size to go into a Hobonichi cover, but I found that it's okay because this is I think is A5. Jibun is actually A5 slim, so it will fit in a Hobonichi cover. It's just a little bit of an overhang there, but it's not too bad if you can see on the side here. So I will continue to use my Hobonichi cover and Hobonichi notebook, and I will be able to carry this notebook to next year as well, and just change my planner according to the year. So I really quite like I said, I'm really impressed so far with how this planner is working. So that's for my 2021 work planner. So those three, and I also want to show you one of these this extra thing that is like on the go sort of notepad. It's not really a planning, but it's really quick note type things I like to carry around with me. Is this particular little notepad and pen I've talked about in the past, but I just want to point out that it's really handy to have a little note as a teacher, and I carry these around with me to write note for students, and also sometimes things I need to jot down really quickly. I found this really handy, and I find it useful to carry this around with me anywhere I go because I can just chuck in the bag. So that's my planner for 2021. The next section is my journal section. Now this is my pile of journal for 2021. So for 2021, what I'm going to use mainly, this year I use a Hobonichi cousin, but in 2021 I'll be using this as my main journal. So that is a Hobonichi Techo in A6 size. Again, thanks to Mitz, I'm able to get the Jibun Techo cover for my Hobonichi Techo. So with this, this is very new. I haven't used it yet. With this particular journal, I'm just going to do my painting and illustration daily, like I always do, or just actually journaling about everyday event in here. And I don't actually know if I'm going to even use the monthly. This year I used Johan, and then I actually use it as a activity tracker. But I have already got the Hobonichi Weeks. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. What am I going to use the monthly for? Maybe I will think about that part, but I'm definitely going to use these to do my painting and illustration daily, like I always do. So I'm really excited about moving back down to a smaller size for the new year. And I just want to focus more on actually my art making and drawing. So that's why I'm moving to a smaller size. So that's for the daily journal, and apart from that, I'm going to use start a 5-year journal for next year. So this is a Hobonichi 5-year journal, and it's starting from 2021, and I'm very excited about starting this from January next year. And obviously you got the space to talk about each day, and for 5 years, and you got extra space here. Now my plan is basically going to talk about my milestones or highlights of the day, or what's happening around the world on that day. And I think we're going through a pretty critical time now, and I think that it would be a great idea to actually track for what the next 5 years going to be like. In the last 3 years, I have been using a Midori 3-year journal, and I just finished that I'll be finishing that this year, so will be a great start for the new year. On the other side of the page, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but very likely I'll be painting in it, or drawing or creating something in that space there, because I really quite like the idea that after 5 years, every single page is filled with these artworks. So that's what my plan is for my 5-year journal. Let's keep going with the Hobonichi theme. I am also using Hobonichi Day Free in A5 size. This is going to be a common book for 2021. A day free means that there's no date in it, obviously. What I'm going to be using this for is perhaps going to use it for like a weekly summary or special event, or basically a common book, or sometimes listing, Christmas shopping, I don't know, etc, etc. Anything that doesn't actually go anywhere will go into these books, because it has no date. I will have no pressure in finishing it, no pressure in doing it every single day, and I really need that. And the date will go all the way till next year to March, so if I need to, it can carry it through to the year after as well. So I thought this is a great common book to have, and yeah, so that's what I'm using this for. Now I'm going to show you a few things that I think that when you do journaling, I think it's a great idea to use some of the stuff that I'm going to use for journaling. For journaling, I often use watercolor, color pencil, stickers. I also like to use stamps. Now, obviously, these are all stems and materials that I got from the stationery selection box. Some of these items you can still purchase online. And obviously, my own washi tape. All of these materials are like I said, with planner, I don't like to decorate, but my journal, I love to decorate, and I cannot get enough of any of these items. I think it's really fun to do that every day, and it's really good for your mindfulness sort of thing. And I highly recommend having stems, pencil, like art materials, stickers, and washi tape to embellish your journal if you are into journaling, because it really, not just that it make the page look pretty, but also the process of creating the spread actually can calm you right down, actually allow you to have this time to reflect to on your own, I guess. In the inside, good soul food for the inside. This is a pack that I got from stationery selection shops to go use in my journal as well. So I highly recommend all these items if you are into it. So I'm going to put that aside for now. And then one more journal that I want to talk about, since we're talking about well-being, is that I use MD B65 notebook. Now I house that in Hobonichi cover, because sometimes I carry other things around with me, and I found that really handy to have extra cover to carry everything with me, because I actually have this particular notebook next to my bedside table, so I do need the extra cover to not just to carry extra things when I need to, I guess. So I use this is a B6 Slim MD notebook for 2021. It's a pretty simple layout. It has the monthly, and you've got all this blank page in there. I basically use this as a gratitude and positivity diary, and every day I just write down good things that happened to me on the day, and to show my appreciation of those things every single day. I used the monthly. I started using the monthly, the front here, because it's starting December. I use it to track my sleeping, how many hours of sleep, and also my stress level as well. And I actually have this pencil case with me all the time when I use this next to my bed every single night. It takes me about 5 minutes, and I use the Sarasa 2-color Sarasa pens in there to do all this tracking. You can see this. I don't really take, like, I'm not that fussy with the way that I use this book, but I really like using it because it's quick, and also it really allows you time to think of what you have and not get caught up on, like, negative feeling. And I think it's very important that we do that every single day. So that is my gratitude and positivity journal for 2021. So now we have all the journaling things out of the way. Now we're going to talk about the rest, the others. So these are the planned journal that I'm going to is an ongoing journal that is carried through from this year, from 2020. So the traveler's notebook are always something that I use, but never end. So for my plan for my traveler's notebook for next year, I slightly changed to what I'm doing this year, and I'm still not 100% about it, but this is what I'm planning to do at this point. So this for the traveler's notebook passport size, I'm going to continue with my collage. So when I do a collage, I use it as a mindfulness exercise. So this is what I use my passport for. And sometimes, I feel about towards certain thing. I also document there. Like if I meet up with someone, I write it down in there too, but mainly for collages. So I'll continue to use the passport size for collage because they're beautiful and they're really a joy to use. So that's what the passport's going to be used for 2021. For my regular size, normally my regular size notebook are actually for traveling, but as we know, we can't travel at the moment. So my 2020 notebook was basically a documentation of my everyday as well as my happy mail that I receive, or like swatches or washi tape, whatever. Basically a common book in there. To be honest with you, I didn't really use it for much apart from happy mail because we didn't go anywhere. But for 2021, I'm having some plan with it because I received I ordered the 2021 stickers as well as the accessories for traveler's notebook this year, and it's all on books. So I thought it might be a good idea to start a book review kind of notebook, and I'm not sure which insert I'm going to use yet. It'd be great to use this the athlete edition, special edition athlete insert, because it's about books and they will go really well together for this year theme. But I also have this beautiful embossed notebook that I ordered last year that I haven't used yet. So but yeah, the idea is that I'm going to maybe write down quote and what I think about whenever I finish reading a book in there as a journal. And yeah, so that's something that I'm going to use it for, and I think that I might even use it for, I might even start sketching and watercolor painting in my traveler's notebook, because I'm really like Tiffy Butter's I'm really inspired by Tiffy Butter, so I might use that for the traveler's notebook in 2021 for that, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to put that aside and put it in a parking lot and think about. And I also got the Arch and Olive's notebook for 2021, and this is again more of an idea book where I'm going to just try out different layout or ideas for a blog post or ideas for a new product, and it will all go into there. I did something for washi game, for example. This is like test for my product, test for materials, testing of layout ideas, and I will continue to use this notebook for that purpose. And I think that's about it. That's about it for my Techo Kaigi. I hope that you enjoy my Techo Kaigi for 2021. That's I know there's a lot of notebook there, like I said, but I do use every single one of them. This year I have surfaced 7 books every single day. And next year I will be using about the same, about 7 books again. I know it's crazy, but things might change throughout the year. But yeah, but at this point I'm quite happy with how I go about it. Yeah, so this that's about what I'm going to say for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it. I shall see you, hopefully see you again very soon here if I get time to actually do another video. Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Bye.